Welcome in, everyone. Today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into this fascinating blog post. It's a 2024 year in review from qianmeng.org. Now, the author of this blog, Eng, is, how would you describe him?
He describes himself as an old software plumber.
Yeah, seasoned tech veteran, someone who really knows his way around the digital world.
And it's fascinating to see how he applies that analytical, problem-solving mindset to all aspects of his life, almost like he's using the principles of software development for personal growth.
I like that. Yeah, it's like he's constantly iterating and debugging his own life.
Yeah.
And he's so open about sharing both his successes and his struggles.
Makes it very relatable.
Exactly. Like, for example, he talks about his health and wellness journey in detail. He mentions incorporating intermittent fasting. Have you ever tried that?
I haven't personally, but I've read a lot about it.
Yeah, so for our listeners who aren't familiar, it basically involves cycling between periods of eating and voluntary fasting. And it's not necessarily about restricting what you eat, but when you eat. And Aang combined that with cutting back on processed foods, and he actually managed to reach a healthier weight range.
That's great.
It is. But what's even more interesting to me is his focus on the process rather than just the outcome. He's not chasing some quick fix. He's really trying to build sustainable habits.
Right. He even mentions that losing weight wasn't his primary goal. It was more like a side effect of adopting a healthier lifestyle overall.
Exactly. It's about the journey, not just the destination. But it sounds like he's still working on some things like consistent exercise and sleep.
Yeah, he's very open about those challenges. He knows how important strength training and regular sleep are. But finding the time and energy can be a struggle.
Oh, absolutely. Especially with a busy schedule. It's like that constant battle between good intentions and the realities of daily life.
And I think a lot of people can relate to that.
For sure. He even talks about wanting to set up a dedicated meditation space and look into better sleep tracking tools.
It seems like he's really trying to figure out what works best for him and create an environment that supports his goals.
Which, again, ties back to his background in software.
Like he's approaching his well-being from an engineer's perspective, analyzing the problem, experimenting with different solutions, and constantly iterating.
I love that analogy. And speaking of problem solving, that leads us perfectly into another big theme in his review, his passion for learning. This guy is always pushing himself to explore new concepts and technologies.
It's like a lifelong learner.
Exactly. Like he's been diving into this programming language called Golang. Have you heard of that one?
Yeah, it's gaining a lot of popularity these days.
Interesting. And he's still keeping up with old favorites like Python, too.
What I find really cool is his emphasis on the application of knowledge. Like, he's not just about accumulating technical skills.
Yeah.
He's all about using that knowledge to build things.
To create something tangible.
Exactly. He talks about building things that fulfill his own needs or contribute to the community.
Which, to me, speaks volumes about his self-reliance and problem-solving approach.
Like he's a true maker at heart.
Absolutely. And this builder mentality even extends to how he's embracing AI. Like he talks about using AI chatbots for something called rubber duck debugging.
Rubber duck debugging.
Yeah, have you ever heard of that?
It rings a bell, but I'm not entirely sure what it is.
So basically, it's this debugging technique where you explain your code line by line to an inanimate object like a rubber duck. But in Ang's case, he's using a chatbot.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the idea is that by explaining your code out loud, you often catch errors that you wouldn't have noticed otherwise. And Aang is using the chatbot's ability to process information to help him debug more effectively.
So he's basically leveraging AI as a debugging partner.
Exactly. And it shows how he's not afraid to use unconventional methods to achieve his goals.
Always thinking outside the box.
Right. And he doesn't stop there. He even mentions using Notebook LM. It's this AI tool that can actually analyze his writing and help him generate ideas for podcast content.
Wow, that's pretty cutting edge.
It is. Most people are still trying to figure out how to use these AI tools effectively. And here's Aang already incorporating them into his creative process.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
It makes you wonder what he'll come up with next. You know, this almost makes me think about how Aang documents everything. Like he's building this massive data set of his own experiences, almost like he's training his own personal AI.
That's an interesting thought. It's like he's creating this incredibly rich tapestry of his life, thread by thread, observation by observation.
Yeah.
And what's even more interesting is that he seems to regret not documenting his experiences more diligently in the past. He mentions wishing he'd kept better records of his earlier forays into fish keeping and typesetting.
Oh, I totally get that. It's like he's recognizing the value of connecting his past self with his present self.
Exactly. And maybe there's even an element of wanting to share those experiences with others, to contribute to a collective body of knowledge. After all, he is putting it all out there on his blog for anyone to read.
That's a great point. And speaking of sharing, this actually leads us to another fascinating aspect of Aang's year, his rediscovery of old passions. He talks about diving back into fish keeping and gardening with a renewed sense of enthusiasm.
And it's not just about nostalgia. He's approaching these hobbies with a fresh perspective, experimenting with new approaches and techniques. For example, he's been cultivating aquatic plants in outdoor ponds and seeking out unique fish species.
It's like he's taking those childhood passions and applying his adult knowledge and experience to them. It seems like there's a growing trend of people finding solace in these kinds of hands-on hobbies, especially in a world that's increasingly dominated by technology.
Maybe it's a way to reconnect with nature, to create something tangible in a digital world.
I think you're right. It's like a counterbalance to the constant barrage of information and stimulation we face every day.
And for Aang, this reconnection with nature isn't limited to gardening and fish keeping. He's also been exploring urban landscapes through photography.
Ah, yes, his city walk photography. It's all about finding beauty in the everyday, capturing those little details that make each neighborhood unique.
It's about appreciating the human stories woven into the fabric of the city.
But is it really just about finding beauty? With Aang's background as an old software plumber, I wonder if there's also a fascination with how cities evolve, like he's documenting the urban ecosystem changing over time.
That might be on something there. Perhaps it's a combination of both a search for beauty and a desire to understand the intricate workings of urban environments.
It's definitely a reminder for all of us to pay closer attention to our surroundings, whether we're in the heart of a bustling city or strolling through a peaceful garden.
Absolutely, and this ties back to Aang's overall philosophy of mindfulness and continuous learning. It's about being present in the moment, observing the world around us, and finding those little sparks of inspiration that ignite our curiosity.
And he even applies this mindset to his approach to photography. He talks about considering mobile photography rather than investing in expensive equipment.
So practical.
I know, right? He's more focused on capturing the moment and experimenting with different perspectives, rather than getting bogged down by technical details or fancy gear.
It's all about finding the right tool for the job, whether it's a smartphone camera or a cutting-edge AI program.
Exactly. It's clear that Aang is someone who embraces experimentation and isn't afraid to challenge conventional wisdom. As we wrap up our deep dive into Aang's 2024 year in review, it's amazing how all these seemingly disparate threads, health technology hobbies, actually weave together into this cohesive tapestry. What stands out to you as the most significant takeaway from his reflections?
For me, it's the emphasis on self-reliance that really resonates. Whether it's his approach to health, his coding projects, or even his rediscovery of old hobbies, there's this consistent thread of taking ownership and figuring things out for himself.
You're absolutely right. And it's not just about being self-sufficient. It's about using that independence to create something meaningful. Whether it's a healthier lifestyle, a useful application, or a thriving garden. He even talks about prioritizing building applications that fulfill his own needs, which really speaks to that self-reliance.
It's fascinating, isn't it? In a world where we're constantly bombarded with solutions and products, Aang is taking a step back and asking, what do I need? How can I use my skills to create something that serves my purpose?
It's such a powerful message, especially for anyone feeling overwhelmed by all the choices and information out there. It's about reclaiming agency and focusing on what truly matters to you.
It's like he's encouraging us to become the architects of our own lives, to design and build the experiences we want to have.
And part of that design process involves continuous learning and experimentation. Aang's blog is a testament to his insatiable curiosity and willingness to embrace new ideas, whether it's a new programming language or a different approach to gardening.
And let's not forget the importance of documentation. Aang's dedication to recording his experiences, even those that might seem mundane, is a powerful reminder for all of us. It's about creating a personal archive of knowledge, insights, and aha moments that we can revisit and learn from.
It's like he's building his own personal library of wisdom, carefully curated and categorized. And by sharing it publicly, he's not only contributing to a larger body of knowledge, but also inviting others to join him on this journey of exploration and self-discovery. Aang's 2024 year in review is a truly inspiring glimpse into a life filled with purpose, passion, and a commitment to continuous growth. It's a reminder that personal development is an ongoing process, a journey of exploration and experimentation, and that the most fulfilling path is often the one we forge ourselves. So, as we step into a new year, I think it's worth asking ourselves, what personal projects or creations would we like to bring to life? What skills or knowledge do we have that could be harnessed to make a difference, even if it's just a difference in our own lives?
And if you're looking for inspiration or a fresh perspective, I highly encourage you to check out kianmeng.org and dive deeper into Aang's fascinating world. You might be surprised at what you discover, both about Aang and about yourself. It's like he's creating this incredibly detailed record of his life.
Yeah.
Every little observation, every experience. And what I find kind of interesting is that he wishes he had documented things even more in the past. He mentions that he kind of regrets not keeping better records of his, earlier experiences with fish keeping and typesetting.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. It's like you realize the value of having that connection to your past self.
Right. And maybe there's even this desire to share those experiences with others, you know, to kind of contribute to a shared pool of knowledge. I mean, after all, he is putting all this out there on his blog for everyone to read.
That's a great point. And speaking of sharing, that kind of brings us to another really interesting part of Aang's year, his rediscovery of old passions. He talks about getting back into fish keeping and gardening.
Yeah, it's like he's approaching them with his renewed sense of enthusiasm.
It's not just nostalgia, though, right?
No, not at all. He's trying out new things, experimenting with different approaches and techniques. Like he's been growing aquatic plants in these outdoor ponds and looking for rare and unusual fish species.
It's almost like he's taking those childhood hobbies and applying his, adult knowledge and experience to them. It seems like a lot of people are finding comfort in these kind of hands-on hobbies these days, especially with, technology being so dominant in our lives.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's like a way to reconnect with nature,
Hmm.
to create something tangible in this increasingly digital world.
It's a good balance, I think. And for Aang, this whole reconnecting with nature thing isn't limited to just gardening and fish keeping. He also talks about exploring urban landscapes through photography.
Oh, right. His city walks photography.
Yeah, he's always out there capturing these beautiful moments in the everyday, those little details that make each neighborhood unique.
It's like he's finding the beauty in the ordinary.
Exactly. But I wonder if it's really just about finding beauty. Knowing Aang and his old software plumber background, I almost feel like there's got to be some fascination with how cities work, how
I,
they evolve.
you know what? That's a really interesting thought. Like he's documenting the urban ecosystem,
Yeah,
how things change over time.
I think there's definitely something to that. Maybe it's a combination of both, you know? A search for beauty and this desire to understand the complex workings of urban environments.
It's a good reminder for all of us to pay more attention to our surroundings, whether we're in a busy city or, a quiet park.
For sure. And it all ties back to Aang's overall philosophy of mindfulness and continuous learning. Being present, observing the world, and finding those little sparks of inspiration.
And he even applies that mindset to his approach to photography. He mentions considering using his phone for photography instead of investing in expensive equipment.
Which is so typical Aang, right?
Right. It's all about finding the right tool for the job.
And not getting bogged down by all the fancy bells and whistles. Exactly. It's clear that he's not afraid to experiment and challenge the status quo. It's pretty amazing, right? It's like Aang is this walking testament to the idea that you can teach yourself anything.
And not just teach yourself, but actually put that knowledge into practice.
Exactly. So as we kind of wrap up our deep dive into Aang's 2024 year in review, what would you say is the biggest takeaway for you?
That's a good question. I think for me, it's the emphasis on self-reliance. This idea of taking ownership and figuring things out for yourself. And it's not just limited to one area of his life. It's across the board, from his health to his coding projects to his hobbies.
You're so right. It's like this underlying theme that connects everything. And it's not just about being independent. It's about using that independence to create something meaningful, like a healthier lifestyle or a cool app or even just a thriving garden. He even mentions that he prioritizes building apps that fulfill his own needs, which I think is really telling.
Yeah, it's like in this world where we're constantly being sold solutions to problems we don't even have, Aang is taking a step back and saying, wait a minute, what do I actually need?
Yeah.
How can I use my skills to create something that serves my purpose?
It's such a refreshing perspective, and I think it's something we can all learn from.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Especially in today's world where it's so easy to get caught up in the noise and lose sight of what's important.
Exactly. And part of that process of finding your own path involves, continuous learning and experimentation. And Eng's blog is a great example of that. He's always trying new things, exploring new ideas, whether it's a new programming language or a different way to grow his garden.
And let's not forget about documentation. The fact that he takes the time to record his experiences, even the ones that might seem kind of mundane, it's a great reminder for all of us to do the same.
Yeah, it's like building up this personal library of knowledge and insights that you can refer back to later. And by sharing it publicly, he's not only helping others learn, but also kind of inviting them along on his journey.
Exactly. It's
Well,
really inspiring.
So I guess as we wrap up here, what do you think listeners should take away from this deep dive into Eng's 2024 year in review?
I think the biggest takeaway is that personal growth is an ongoing process. It's about constantly learning, experimenting, and trying new things. And it's also about being self-reliant and figuring out what works best for you.
I love that. And I think Eng's story is a perfect illustration of that. So to our listeners out there, what personal projects or creations would you like to bring to life in the new year? What skills or knowledge do you have that you could use to make a difference, even if it's just a difference in your own life?
And if you're looking for inspiration or just a fresh perspective, I definitely recommend checking out Ang's blog at kiameng.org. You might be surprised at what you discover.
And on that note, we'll wrap things up here. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep creating.